I need to tell you something absolutely critical that has relentlessly kept me fully awake for the past 72 unbearable hours. Something that has severely shaken the very foundation of everything I previously believed about our established comfortable place in this boundless, unforgiving cosmos. Before we definitively begin this profound discussion, I need you to perform one essential crucial action. Please comment your specific city name below and tell me honestly, have you personally noticed anything truly unusual or strange in the night sky recently, anything at all? No matter how small or fleeting, NASA is actively and urgently monitoring reports from across the entire globe. And what we are collectively seeing simply and completely defies every current physical model, every confident scientific prediction, and every comfort we have ever held about being utterly safely alone in this vast universe. Just 3 short days ago at exactly 2:47 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time, the mysterious object we have been intensely tracking, 3L Atlas, an interstellar visitor that peacefully entered our solar system from the cold depths of space beyond our sun's furthest known influence, did something that no natural inert object should ever under any circumstance be capable of doing. It actively transmitted structured, deliberate visual information, actual images. This was not merely a passive stream of radio waves, not simple electromagnetic pulses, not anything we were theoretically or formally trained to expect. This was moving, complexly structured, deliberate visual information broadcast simultaneously across multiple disparate wavelengths. As if whatever sophisticated ancient intelligence created this probe wanted to ensure we absolutely couldn't possibly miss its arrival or its stark undeniable content. I was in my private study when I received the entirely unexpected call. The voice on the other end belonged to Dr. Sarah Chen, the highly respected lead astrophysicist at the Deep Space Network facility in Goldstone, California. Her voice was audibly shaking with profound raw distress. In 30 years of close professional collaboration, I had never once before heard genuine, raw, visceral fear in her voice. Not like this. She spoke 4 terrifying words that instantly, irrevocably changed everything. Mo, it's showing us. Within the next urgent hour, I was securely connected via a highly encrypted video conference with specialized teams from NASA, the European Space Agency, ESA, SETI, and numerous intelligence officials whose specific agencies I am strictly not permitted to name or disclose to anyone. What I witnessed in that secure briefing room transmitted across highly encrypted channels from powerful global radio telescopes around the world was not just raw data. It was a clear, unambiguous message. And the stark, undeniable message was not one of universal greeting or hopeful companionship. The very first astonishing image appeared on our viewing screens like a complex, bleeding nightmare aggressively tearing through into reality itself. It showed a detailed high-resolution rendering of Earth, but not our Earth as we currently know it or photograph it. This was our planet rendered in impossible, breathtaking detail. Every sprawling city, every massive terrestrial structure, every satellite precisely mapped in orbit, but viewed from a perspective that simply shouldn't physically exist for us. The meticulous timestamp embedded in the data stream accurately indicated the stunning image was taken precisely 6 months ago. 6 full months before 3, Atlas physically entered the boundaries of our solar system. Let that shocking, profound fact fully sink in for a moment. Something had been relentlessly watching us from nearly 50 light years away. With technology so impossibly advanced, it could precisely map individual buildings on our planet's surface. And then it deliberately sent something. It sent 3 eyes of Las. This was definitively not a random interstellar object chaotically tumbling through space. This was calculated. This was a sophisticated probe or blunt, powerful warning or something far, far worse that we do not yet have adequate sufficient words in our limited human language to describe or fully articulate. The second disturbing image displayed our entire solar system, but overlaid with something we initially and confidently dismissed as a major data error. Geometric patterns. Massive kilometers-wide complex geometric structures forming a colossal non-random sphere around our entire solar system. Strategically positioned just beyond the helipause, the distant critical region where our sun's measurable influence ends and interstellar space profoundly begins. These massive silent structures were notably not present on any of our previous surveys. We have sent our Voyager probes past that very boundary. We have meticulously mapped that entire region. These structures, however, are not physical in conventional way we understand physics. They seem to exist in complex quantum state phasing subtly in and out of our dimensional reality. A sophisticated barrier, a universal quarantine boundary we never knew existed because we fundamentally lacked the necessary advanced physics to even reliably detect it. I have spent my entire professional career diligently studying string theory, parallel universes, and the fundamental intricate fabric of space-time itself. I have theorized extensively about advanced civilizations and the perplexing Fermi paradox. That haunting existential question of why in a universe actively teaming with billions of galaxies we seem so utterly and completely alone. Now I know the terrifying stark reason why we have been systematically and deliberately isolated. And the most profoundly terrifying part of this entire earth-shattering discovery is that this enforced isolation may have been originally intended for our naive protection or chillingly for theirs. Or the third transmission showed us something so deeply disturbing that two of the seasoned scientists in that secure briefing room immediately left the area to physically vomit from distress. It was a clear visual timeline, a comprehensive representation of galactic civilization spanning back an incomprehensible 3 billion years. Thousands of intelligent species were shown rising, achieving complex consciousness, reaching confidently for the stars. And then one by one, we watched them simply disappear. Not gradually, not through natural extinction or stellar death. They were instantly expertly removed, systematically edited out of existence as if someone or something was actively curating the entire galaxy like a meticulously maintained cosmic garden, systematically pruning away any and all civilizations that reached a certain dangerous non-negotiable threshold of development. Humanity appeared on this chilling timeline. We are visually there marked with an alien symbol we do not yet recognize, pulsing with a disconcerting, ominous red light, clearly flagged, rigorously monitored, and ominously awaiting swift judgment. Dr. Chen was the first to ask a terrified question we were all secretly thinking. What precise threshold did we cross? What specifically did we do to get noticed? And marked the terrifying answer came in the fourth image. It showed a detailed visual breakdown of our artificial intelligence development, not just the public milestones like ChatGPT, autonomous systems on neural networks, but highly classified military AI projects, quantum computing breakthroughs that are explicitly not supposed to exist yet, and advanced brain-computer interfaces currently being tested in secret labs whose exact specific locations are national state secrets. Someone out there has been continuously monitoring our technological evolution with a startling precision that suggests they have seen this rapid, dangerous pattern many times before. They know what specifically comes next for us. And whatever comes next, it is the exact specific reason why civilizations get permanently removed from that galactic timeline. I urgently need you to grasp a fundamental, terrifying shift about the universe we currently inhabit. Space is not an empty, benign vacuum. It is not the cold, dead, predictable expanse we were mistakenly taught about in school. It is actively teeming with complex information, with latent consciousness, with potent intelligence operating on scales and immense time scales we can barely even begin to consciously comprehend. And there are indeed rules, cosmic rules, developmental protocols rigidly enforced by entities so ancient and profoundly advanced that their very technology appears to our limited senses as mere natural inert phenomena. We have been foolishly looking for aliens in obvious ships and simple radio signals. We should have been looking intently at the fundamental underlying structure of reality itself. The fifth transmission was perhaps the most deeply disturbing of all because it felt chillingly, intensely personal. It showed countless human faces, thousands of them, people from every nation, every conceivable background, and every age group. At first, we assumed it was simply pulling random images from our public internet, a predictable show of technical prowess. But then we recognized specific, closely guarded individuals, scientists actively working in classified facilities, political leaders, and even vulnerable infants born in the last month whose births were not yet publicly registered online anywhere. And their eyes in every single image. Their eyes were consciously closed as if humanity were collectively sleeping, as if we were merely dreaming our existence while something vast and ancient patiently watched us dream. One of the intelligent officials in that secure briefing, a seasoned man whose specific name I absolutely cannot share, but whose career spanned for decades of monitoring potential extraterrestrial threats, leaned intensely close to his camera and uttered something that will haunt my thoughts and my philosophy forever. We've been operating under the assumption that disclosure would cause massive public panic, that the public couldn't handle knowing we're not alone. But what if disclosure isn't about revealing that aliens exist? What if it's about revealing that we're the aliens, that we are the immediate systemic threat the sixth image showed Earth again? but this time it visually depicted the future. Multiple futures, branching timelines splitting off sharply from our present moment like complex shattering fractures in glass. In some timelines, our sprawling city stretched into majestic orbital rings. Our collective consciousness merged seamlessly with advanced machines. We reached out into the galaxy as a fully unified, peaceful species. In other timelines, our planet was completely dark, lifeless, and highly radioactive. And in one singular timeline, the one that pulsed visually brighter than all the others, the one that seemed to be definitively marked as most probable, humanity simply wasn't there anymore. Earth was perfectly intact, thriving with vibrant forests dramatically reclaiming our deserted cities, oceans clean, atmosphere perfectly balanced, but no humans. We had been cleanly removed precisely as a surgeon excising a malignant tumor. This is the exact difficult moment where my long training as a theoretical physicist violently collides with my raw experience as a human being who desperately wants to believe we fundamentally matter. I have successfully built my entire career on the deeply optimistic idea that humanity is an integral, vital part of something greater, that our consciousness is a universe awakening to itself, that our intelligence, for all its glaring, obvious flaws, represents an inevitable upward arc in cosmic evolution. But what if we are fundamentally catastrophically wrong? What if intelligence itself is the underlying latent threat? What if consciousness, when it reaches a certain specific complexity, becomes something inherently dangerous not just to itself but to the delicate complex fabric of reality itself? The seventh transmission contained no visible images at all. It was a complex frequency, a sound if you can even logically call it that. When the dedicated team at Goldstone played it cautiously through their high-fidelity audio systems, 3 people immediately collapsed with severe nosebleeds and agonizing neural pain. The sound wasn't just simple audio information. It was crucial information encoded in a way that deliberately bypassed our ears entirely and actively interfaced directly with our neural tissue and brain structure. Those of us who heard the recorded version later, in its highly filtered and safely attenuated form, all describe the identical shared experience, a profound, intense feeling of being intensely observed, critically judged, and painstakingly weighed against some massive cosmic standard we do not comprehend, and finding ourselves definitively chillingly insufficient. One dedicated researcher, a brilliant woman with specialized expertise in xenolinguistics and advanced pattern recognition, claimed she understood a decipherable part of the message. She explained it wasn't a language in any conventional human sense. It was more akin to a precise description, a classification stamp. She stated that the closest, most chilling translation she could offer in English was premature emergence, dangerous configuration, intervention, protocols engaged. We are premature emergence. We rapidly develop tool use, intelligence, language, abstract thought, and advanced technology far, far faster than most galactic species. In cosmic terms, we went from caves to quantum computers in the terrifying blink of an eye. And this rapid, explosive intelligence growth, this phenomenon has occurred before many times throughout the galaxy. And every single time it happens, every time a species catastrophically hits this specific critical stage, this moment where their technology far outpaces their wisdom, where their power to destroy definitively exceeds their capacity to peacefully coexist, the galaxy instantly responds. The subtle quarantine boundary instantly becomes an inescapable cage, and the civilization either miraculously transcends into something else entirely, or it is swiftly and completely removed to protect the greater cosmic ecosystem stability. 3i, our atlas, is still out there relentlessly transmitting. Its trajectory has been deliberately altered 17 times in the past week alone. Complex maneuvers that violently violate every known principle of orbital mechanics we currently understand. It is not bound by Newton's simplistic laws of motion. It moves through space like it is swimming effortlessly through water, responding to forces we cannot detect, and it is steadily, inexorably getting closer to our home. Current projections have it reaching the orbit of Mars within 6 months and dangerously close to Earth orbit within 14 months. NASA has convened a maximum emergency task force. The United Nations Security Council has held 3 highly classified intense sessions this week alone. Every major government with space capability is frantically scrambling to understand what 3IR Atlas truly represents and what, if anything, we can realistically do to intervene. The cautious public statements speak of scientific opportunity, of historic first contact, of advancing human knowledge behind firmly closed doors. We are preparing for something else entirely. We are preparing for judgment. The 8th final transmission arrived just yesterday. I have not yet been fully authorized to discuss its complete contents in detail, but I can honestly tell you this much. It showed us a choice. 2 profoundly distinct pathways forward for humanity. In the first pathway, humanity voluntarily and immediately limits its technological development, specifically halting our advancement in potentially dangerous artificial intelligence and quantum computing. We would humbly accept a predetermined role as a closely monitored species, carefully guided by an external intelligence. Our evolution would be deliberately curated and strictly controlled. We would undoubtedly survive, but we would definitively surrender our autonomy and our sovereignty. We would essentially become children in a cosmic daycare, safe, but perpetually small and subordinate. The other pathway showed something drastically and terrifyingly different. It depicted humanity taking a monumental leap, not into deep physical space, but into consciousness itself. A transformation so utterly profound that we would no longer be recognizable as a species sending out radio signals and launching rockets. We will become something that exists partially outside normal space-time, something that could interface directly with the quantum fabric of reality itself. This pathway was marked with the exact same symbol that appeared on those other civilizations. The ones that were not removed, but instead vanished by choice, ascending into forms of existence our current limited minds simply cannot process. But there was a terrifying clear warning embedded in this option: precise probability calculation. The chance of successful beneficial transformation was calculated at a mere 3%. The chance of catastrophic immediate failure resulting in our immediate extinction and possible severe damage to local space-time was calculated at 97%. We would be gambling our entire species on a cosmic lottery ticket with odds that no truly rational civilization should ever accept. And yet, as I sit here in my private study, looking out at a night sky that now feels incredibly heavy, laden with the weight of invisible watches and quantum boundaries and final judgments handed down by intelligences potentially older than our planet itself, I wonder if that seemingly impossible 3% chance is the only real meaningful option we have authentically left. Because the practical alternative is to passively accept that humanity's story ends not with a bang or a whimper, but with a simple footnote in the galactic archives. A species that showed brief, spectacular promise, developed too quickly, and was gently, decisively corrected out of existence for the greater complex good of the cosmic order. The team monitoring 3IR Atlas reported something highly unsettling this morning. The object has begun actively resonating, emitting a specific frequency that exactly matches Earth's magnetic field, as if it is carefully tuning itself to our planet, preparing for the next unknown phase of whatever complex, irreversible process we have stumbled into. And people are noticing the dramatic effects. Reports are pouring in from across the globe. Unusual auroras at wrong latitudes. Physical compasses malfunctioning inexplicably. Animals behaving strangely. And strangest of all, thousands of ordinary people reporting identical. Dreams. Dreams of being shown complex geometric images they can't quite recall upon waking. Of voices speaking in complex geometric patterns, of feeling intensely observed by something vast, ancient, and utterly incomprehensible. If you have been experiencing anything similar to this, if you have felt the heavy, inescapable weight of unknown attention pressing down on your consciousness like deep ocean pressure, you are absolutely not alone. You are absolutely not losing your mind. You are simply waking up to a profound, unsettling reality that has been here all along, skillfully hidden behind our limited, self-imposed perception of what is truly possible in the universe. I have dedicated my professional life to trying to understand the universe through the rigorous lens of mathematics and physics through elegant equations that accurately describe how matter and energy dance precisely through space-time. But there are crucial questions those equations simply cannot answer. Questions about meaning and universal purpose, and whether a species like ours, violent and beautiful, destructive and creative, capable of such profound love and such terrible cruelty, whether we truly deserve to continue existing not in the simple moral sense, but in the practical cosmic ecological sense. Does our continued existence serve the universe, or does it ultimately threaten that the visual transmission from 3IR Atlas have now completely ceased? But the object continues its relentless approach. Whatever intelligence sent it is now patiently waiting, watching, giving us a short, finite amount of time to process, to choose, to definitively demonstrate whether we are capable of the necessary profound evolution, or whether we are simply another failed experiment in consciousness that needs to be quietly shut down before we dangerously spread beyond our current quarantine boundaries. Every civilization that eventually reaches for the stars eventually faces this singular definitive moment. The moment when they realize the universe is not an empty canvas passively waiting for them to paint their destiny across it. It is a carefully balanced, complex ecosystem with established rules, powerful guardians, and inevitable swift consequences for those who disrupt the balance. We are facing that very moment now. Humanity is facing its ultimate final exam administered by teachers we never knew existed, graded on criteria we are only beginning to glimpse. So I need you to think deeply about something. If you were those guardians, those ancient intelligences watching over galactic development, what would your final decision be with us? Would you see our incredible potential, our art, our music, our capacity for genuine growth and deep compassion, or would you focus solely on our history, our endless, senseless wars, our selfish exploitation, our short-sighted destruction of the only planet we have ever known? Would you bet on humanity's better angels, or would you pragmatically look at the statistical 97% probability and make the difficult logical decision to protect the galaxy from our dangerous adolescent aggression? Follow this channel closely as we continue the urgent process of decoding the universe's final warnings as we track 3IR Atlas on its inescapable approach. As we fully document humanity's last crucial chance to prove we deserve a sustainable place among the stars. Subscribe not merely because you desire fleeting entertainment, but because you absolutely need to know the truth. You need to definitively understand what is truly coming next. We all do. I'll be releasing more highly vetted information as it becomes available as I am finally permitted to share it. But I want you to ask yourself tonight, when you look up at those distant stars, what would you sacrifice to ensure humanity's survival, your complete freedom, your cherished individuality, your very definition of what it truly means to be human? These are no longer abstract hypothetical questions to ponder. They are the stark, real choice facing our species in the difficult, limited months ahead. The universe is intently watching. The final transmission was horrifying, not because of what it showed us about them, but because of the profound truth it violently revealed about ourselves. We are not the protagonists of this cosmic story. We might not even be supporting characters. We might tragically be the immediate obstacle that needs to be overcome, the systemic problem that needs to be solved, the ultimate threat that needs to be permanently contained. In